Hi, I'm Maxine Bingham. I have a master's degree in Near Eastern Studies from UC Berkeley, and I'm leading a ministry called Women of Purple that equips women with biblical history and archaeology. I'd like to go on a journey with you and take a trip on the search for Jesus. How do we search? What do? We look at primary and secondary written sources, such as the Gospels, Acts, Paul's letters, Josephus, the Jewish historian, Tacitus, the historian, Philo, the Jewish philosopher, and there are others as well. What do we mean by primary and secondary? Primary is at the time the events occurred, I saw, I talked to, I witnessed. Secondary is information that the person got much later in time, but secondary sources can also be very valuable. Then there's archaeology evidence. So we're going to take a look at the archaeology evidence for Jesus, but we're going to start with people in Jesus's world and then Jesus directly, because one of the things that we learn in archaeology is that those mentioned in the Gospels, Acts, and so forth are an important testament to the life of Jesus. So let's start with someone we know very well, which is Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the Jewish high priest, and he is attested to in the Gospels and the Jewish historian Josephus as a contemporary historian. We read in Matthew 26, 57 to 58, those who had arrested Jesus took him to Caiaphas the high priest, where the teachers of the law and the elders had assembled. So this was to be a trial, although it eventually goes to the Romans and then sadly to crucifixion. So the inscription on the ossuary, which is a bone box, says Joseph, son of Caiaphas. So this is Caiaphas. His father was also named Caiaphas. What is a bone box? A bone box is part of Jewish burial custom that lasted only from 40 BCE to 135 CE. So it was a small period of time. And at this time, and we read about this in the Gospels, and we'll show how archaeology elucidates one of Jesus' sayings, that the body was taken into the tomb and laid on a niche. And once it had decomposed, the bones were taken up and put into an ossuary or bone box, which was then returned to the tomb. And you can see here that for its time, it was very well decorated. Now, the other ossuary I want to talk to you about is the one belonging to Caiaphas's daughter. And the inscription reads, Miriam, daughter of Yeshua, or Joshua, son of Caiaphas, priest of Maaziah from Bet Imri. So, as a scholar says, based on it, Caiaphas can be assigned to the priestly course of Maaziah, which was instituted by King David. So that's a very exciting inscription and find. So we can see how this information, this archaeological evidence, elucidates when Jesus said in Matthew 8:22, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." And in Luke 9:60, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." And this is probably referring to the second burial, where the bones were put back in. Now we know of Pontius Pilate, who was the prefect and governor of Judea